Some people break under pressure. Others become quieter, more focused, and somehow keep moving. They still feel stress. They still get angry. They still get hurt. But they don't let every emotion control what they do next. Maybe you've noticed this in yourself. You can stay calm when someone misunderstands you. You can handle difficult situations without immediately falling apart. And when something goes wrong, you may think, okay, what can I do about it? Instead of asking, why is this happening to me, if that sounds familiar, you may have a stronger mind than you realize. Mental strength doesn't mean you never feel fear, anger, sadness, or doubt. It means those emotions don't automatically take control of your decisions. Here are the first two signs. Sign number 1, you don't let every emotion control your actions. Imagine someone says something disrespectful to you. Your first reaction might be anger. You want to respond immediately. You want to prove them wrong. You want to say something that makes them regret what they said. But instead, you pause, you take a breath, and you ask yourself, is reacting right now actually going to help me? That pause is powerful, because feeling an emotion and acting on it are two different things. A strong-minded person can feel angry without immediately becoming aggressive. They can feel hurt without begging someone for attention. They can feel afraid and still do what needs to be done. This doesn't mean they're emotionless. In fact, mentally strong people often understand their emotions very well. They simply don't allow every temporary feeling to make permanent decisions for them. Because emotions change, what feels extremely important today may not matter nearly as much tomorrow. So instead of asking, what do I feel like doing right now? They may ask, what is the smartest thing to do? And that small difference can completely change how you handle life. But controlling your reactions is only one part of mental strength, because sometimes the real test comes when something is uncomfortable and you simply don't want to keep going. Sign number 2, you can handle discomfort without immediately quitting. Most people want things to feel easy. They want motivation before they start. They want results quickly. And when something becomes uncomfortable, their first instinct is often to escape. But a strong mind understands something different. Not everything worth doing is going to feel good. Learning a difficult skill can be frustrating. Going to the gym can be uncomfortable. Studying when you're tired isn't always enjoyable. Having an honest conversation can feel awkward. Building something important can take months before you see results. A mentally strong person doesn't expect discomfort to disappear. They learn to work through it. They can tell themselves, this feels difficult, but difficult doesn't mean impossible. That's an important mindset. Because if you quit every time something becomes uncomfortable, you'll never know what you could have achieved. But there's an important difference between mental strength and blindly forcing yourself to continue. Sometimes the strongest thing you can do is recognize that you're putting your energy into the wrong situation, and that's where the next sign becomes important. You have an unusually strong mind. Sign number 3. You know when to walk away. Mental strength isn't always about pushing harder. Sometimes it's about knowing when to stop. You don't need to win every argument. You don't need to prove yourself to everyone. And you don't need to keep chasing people who repeatedly disrespect you. A strong-minded person can recognize when something is no longer worth their energy. Maybe it's an argument that will never change anything. Maybe it's a relationship that constantly drains you. Maybe it's a situation you've tried to fix again and again, but nothing changes. Walking away doesn't always mean you're weak. Sometimes it means you understand the value of your time and peace. You can say, this isn't good for me anymore, and move forward without needing everyone to understand your decision. Because mental strength includes knowing what you can control and what you can't. You can't control how someone thinks. You can't force someone to respect you. You can't make everyone like you. But you can control where you put your attention. And that brings us to another important sign. Because even when you make the right decision, someone may still criticize you for it. Sign number 4, criticism doesn't destroy your identity. Nobody likes being criticized. Even confident people can feel hurt when someone points out their mistakes. But there's a difference between hearing criticism and allowing criticism to define you. A strong-minded person can listen and ask, is there something useful here? If the answer is yes, they learn from it. If the criticism is unfair or simply meant to hurt them, they don't have to carry it around all day. They understand, someone's opinion of me is not automatically the truth about me. This gives them emotional stability. They don't need to defend themselves every time someone disagrees. They don't spend hours trying to prove their worth. And they don't completely change who they are because one person doesn't approve of them. But there's one final sign that may be even more important. Because real mental strength isn't only about handling pressure from other people. It's also about what happens when you discover that you were wrong. Sign number 5, you can admit when you're wrong. For many people, being wrong feels like losing. So they make excuses, blame someone else, change the subject, or keep arguing even after they know they made a mistake. But a strong mind can handle the words, "I was wrong." You can realize that your decision wasn't the best. You can listen to another perspective. You can apologize. And you can change your approach without feeling like your entire identity has been attacked. That's because your ego isn't controlling everything. You care more about growth than looking perfect, and that's a powerful form of confidence. A weak ego needs to always be right. A strong mind can handle being wrong. So what does an unusually strong mind actually look like? It doesn't mean you never get angry. It doesn't mean you never feel afraid. It doesn't mean you never fail. It means you don't allow those things to permanently control your decisions. You can manage your emotions. You can tolerate discomfort. You know when to walk away. You can handle criticism. And you can admit when you're wrong. That's real mental strength. Not becoming emotionless, but becoming strong enough to choose your response. So if you recognize yourself in these signs, don't think you have to become a completely different person. You may simply need to strengthen the qualities you already have. Because a strong mind isn't a mind that never breaks under pressure. It's a mind that knows how to recover, learn, and keep moving. If this video described you, tell me in the comments. Which of these 5 signs do you have? And if you want to build an even stronger mindset, watch the next video on your screen.